Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll tell you the verse. It's Canto 7, Chapter 5, text number 30. So 7, 5, 30. If you want to look it up, you can share, you can pass it around, and you recite it. It's a very easy one. Maybe you might know this by heart. So it's one of the ones that it's good to memorize. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 7, 5, 30. Right? Shri Prahlada Uvacha.
Shri Prahlada Uvacha.
Matirna Krishne Parata Svatova.
Matirna Krishne Parata Svatova.
Mitho Vipadyeta Griha Vritana.
Mitho Vipadyeta Griha Vritana.
Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamisram.
Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamisram.
Puna Punascharvita Charvanana.
Punascharvita Charvanana.
Matirna Krishne Parata Svatova.
Matirna Krishne Parata Svatova.
Mitho Vipadyeta Griha Vritana.
Mitho vipadyet griha-vratanam
Adantagobhir-vishatam tamisram
Adantagobhir-vishatam tamisram
Punah punashcharvitacharvananam
Punah punashcharvitacharvananam.
Please listen.
Shri Prahlad Uvacha
Matirna
Krishne Paratah Swatova
Matirna Krishne Paratah Svatova
Mitto Vipadyet Gruhavratanam
Mitho Vipadyeta Grihavritanam
Adantagobhir Vishatam Tamisram
Adantagobhir-vishatam tamisram
Punaha Punashcharvitacharvananam
Punah punashcharvitacharvananam. Mataji. Padhiye, padhiye.
Shri Prahlad Uvacha
Shri Prahlad Uvacha
Matirna Krishne Paratah Svatova
Matirna Krishne Paratah Svatova
Mitho abhipadyat grihe vratanam
Mitho Vipadyeta Grihavritanam
Adantagobhir-vishatam tamisrama
Adantagobhir-vishatam tamisram
Punah punashcharvitacharvananam
Punah punashcharvitacharvananam. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Matirna Krishne Paratah Svatova Mitho Vipadyet Grihavritanam Adantagobhir-vishatam tamisram Punah punashcharvitacharvananam. Anyone else? Anyone else? Want to read?
Shri Prahlad Uvacha
Shri Prahlad Uvacha
Matirna Krishne Paratah Svatova
Matirna Krishne Paratah Svatova
Miho Vipadyet
Miho Vipadyet Grihavritanam
Adantagobhir-vishatam tamishram
Adantagobhir-vishatam tamisram
Punah punashcharvitacharvananam
Punah punashcharvitacharvananam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Prahlad Maharaj replied. Replied to who? Anybody know who he's talking to? He's having a conversation with his father. And his father, Hiranyakashipu. So he's replying to Prahlad Maharaj. And he says this. Because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress toward hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused, either by instruction of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. It's interesting. By their own efforts also. In other words, it can be Krishna conscious even by their own efforts. Even if others try to intervene. Or by combining. It's just not going to happen. It's actually a pretty intense verse. Purport. In this verse, the words Matirna Krishne refer to devotional service rendered to Krishna. So-called politicians, erudite scholars, and philosophers who read Bhagavad Gita try to twist some meaning from it to suit their material purposes. But their misunderstandings of Krishna will not yield them any profit. Because such politicians, philosophers, and scholars are interested in using Bhagavad Gita as a vehicle for adjusting things materially. For them, constant thought of Krishna or Krishna consciousness is impossible. Matir na krsne. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 1855, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only through devotional service can one understand Krishna as he is. The so-called politicians and scholars think of Krishna as fictitious. The politician says that his Krishna is different from the Krishna depicted in Bhagavad Gita. Even though he accepts Krishna and Ram as the supreme, he thinks of Ram and Krishna as impersonal because he has no idea of service to Krishna. Thus his only business is punah punascharvita charvananam, chewing the chewed again and again. The aim of such politicians and academic scholars is to enjoy this material world with their bodily senses. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that those who are griha vrata, whose only aim is to live comfortably with the body in the material world, cannot understand Krishna. The two expressions, griha vrata and charvita charvananam, indicate that a materialistic person tries to enjoy sense gratification in different bodily forms, life after life, but is still unsatisfied. In the name of personalism, this ism or that ism, such persons are always remain attached to the materialistic way of life as stated in Bhagavad Gita 2:44. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam daya pahrita chedasam vyasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidhiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Those who are attached to material enjoyment cannot be fixed in devotional service to the Lord. They cannot understand Bhagavan, cannot understand Krishna or his instruction, cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. Adanta gobir vishitam tamisram. Their path actually leads toward hellish life. As confirmed by Rishabhadev, Mahat Sevam Dwara Mahur Vimukte. One must try to understand Krishna by serving a devotee. The word Mahat refers to a devotee. Mahatma anastamam partha devim prakritimashita. Bhajanti ananya manaso gyata bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. A Mahatma is one who is constantly engaged in devotional service 24 hours a day. How many hours?
24.
Okay. As explained in the following verses. Unless one adheres to such a great personality, one cannot understand Krishna. Hiranyakashipu wanted to know where Prahlad had gotten this Krishna consciousness. Who had taught him? Prahlad sarcastically replied, "My dear father, persons like you never understand Krishna." Persons like you. One can understand Krishna only by serving a Mahat, a great soul. Those who try to adjust material conditions are said to be chewing the chew. No one has been able to adjust material conditions. But life after life, generation after generation, people try and repeatedly fail. Unless one is properly trained by a Mahat, a Mahatma, or unalloyed devotee of the Lord, there is no possibility of one's understanding Krishna and his devotional service. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, who has opened my darkened eyes and filled my heart with the torchlight of knowledge. I further offer my obeisances to all of you assembled Vaishnavas and seek your kind permission and blessing that I may read Srimad Bhagavatam with you. I want to thank specifically Partha Prem Prabhu for so beautifully and lovingly inviting us, welcoming us, facilitating so many devotees, facilitating so many crowds. I want to thank Govinda Prem Prabhu for always supporting and envisioning this whole system, and just making sure everything works perfectly fine. Everything in Krishna's service is done with such great detail. Attention to detail means love of Godhead. And that's what I'm learning from Govinda Prem Prabhu and Sita Mataji. Thank you. And I want to thank Kirtika Mataji always. I have no words to thank Kirtika Mataji. I'm grateful that even in spite of injuries, Kirtika Mataji is here present, and just so much welcoming and loving and caring for all the devotees. And it's just, we always look forward to coming to Eldoret. I want to thank Sri Govinda. It's such a great time. And thank you, my dear friend. I look forward to being in touch. Especially when Roji would take the microphone and instruct or just get everybody excited in Swahili. But Prabhu would say, okay, in Swahili, please. And then he would say so beautiful things. It made me want to learn Swahili more. I only know like 5-6 words, but I want to learn more to be able to connect to where I'm originally from. So it was just so exciting, and so many sweet memories that I'm going to go home with. So my obeisances to all of you. So, dear devotees, today we are covering very sacred ground because we are entering the mind and heart of Prahlad Maharaj. There are many verses in the Bhagavatam that give us encouragement, consolation, give us gentle instruction. This is not one of them. There are some verses that are like a spiritual mirror. They show us the exact reason why, even after years of practice, we still struggle with inner turbulence. We still struggle with divided desires. Of course, when we go on the streets of Eldoret, we promise them, come, join us. Fought us easy. If you want furaha and amani, if you want peace and happiness, come. Yes, that's what we're advertising. Are we feeling the peace and happiness inside after years of practice? This is a hard question. We have to be honest. Yes, definitely way more than we used to be, okay? So compared to where we were before, you can't even compare. This is the life. But now, are we there yet? Not fully, you see. So we can't compare when you're coming out from the ditch to normal human life. It is so nice. There's an undercurrent of satisfaction, finally. But now we want more. We want to love Krishna. We want that unending peace, the depth that we have been promised in the scriptures. This verse number 30 in chapter 5, is one of those mirrors that show us. Now Prahlad Maharaj is speaking the truth without compromise. He doesn't flatter us. He's only 5 years old, but he's very serious. Because he learned from the best. He learned from Narad Muni. So, he's not flattering us, he's diagnosing us. He tells us why our mati, our orientation in life, our consciousness, where is it focused? He's telling us, mati does not naturally run toward Krishna. Why? Even though it's supposed to be the most natural thing for the soul. He tells us why even if we're hearing from great devotees, even if you're reading the most sacred texts, even if we're doing sadhana, all that does not transform us anymore. We hit a plateau of transformation, isn't it? It does not fully transform us. The reason is simple. Adanta gobhi. Gobi means what? Cauliflower? No. Gobi means go means senses. Gobi senses.
sorry.
Yeah, cow also. Yeah, that'll be funny in this verse. Yes, these cows, they don't listen to me. The senses, they don't listen. Adanta gobhi. Gobhi means plural of bhi means plural. So gobhi means the senses. Adanta means, you can say uddand. You know this word in Hindi, uddand. How would you translate? Notorious. What else? Uddand, more specifically. Stubborn, but also notoriously stubborn. It's like a combination of notorious and stubborn. And belligerent. Belligerent is more, not very commonly used word, but that's more. The uncontrolled senses, adanta gobhi. It's uncontrolled because of what? Deeply rooted attachments. Deeply rooted. There are subtle addictions that hold the steering wheel of our consciousness. Yes, we've given up the other ones. Okay, the other addictions we still have. That's a long time. We don't chew pan and put in the mouth and spit. Yeah, we don't do that anymore. You know, that's nasty. But people, you've seen that in India? You put the pan, it's disgusting.
Lots.
Now if you put signs, don't spit over here.
And they will spit there.
And that's like the people spitting right on the sign.
Yes.
Those red nasty things. But we don't do that anymore, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about subtle addiction. So today we'll explore this verse through a few angles. Okay? And try to uncover something honest within ourselves. And at the end, hopefully, we can walk away not with guilt, but with hope. With hope. This is a way out. With clarity. With practical inner pathway. You see, we have a lot of practical external things. You put this there, you whitewash this, you turn, like this. But what are practical inner pathways? That's also important to discuss. What can I do internally, consistently, to get to that point of transformation that I'm looking for, isn't it? So let's explore that. It's a very nice point that Prahlad Maharaj makes here. We can go deep into it. So he says, he starts with the phrase Adanta Gobi. That means those people whose senses are not controlled. Right? Now most people here think, okay, addiction to say opposite, exploitation of opposite gender, or intoxicants of different kinds, or eating the wrong kinds of food, obvious lust. But the Bhagavatam is deeper. It goes deeper than that. Adanta Gobi also means these, and it could be hard for us to hear, but it's also what it means. Dependency on praise. It's very important that I get praised. And I get very upset if I don't. A thirst for validation. Emotional addictions. Where we kind of really prey on somebody else's emotions to feel emotionally validated. Craving for comfort. Look, the world is full of discomforts. Tolerate. Don't go beyond and above for a little bit of extra comfort. But that's what these are the things. Need for control. If I'm not in control here, if I can't control this, I'm extremely uncomfortable. The drive and the need for control. Addiction to prestige. Addiction to smartphones. Yeah, it's also Adanta Gopi. Yes. Habitual anger. Once in a while it's okay. But it's a habit. It's like a default setting in some people. The face looks like, even when they're sleeping, it's like they're angry. Why? Because it's so used to it, It's like the resting face. Everyone has a resting face. It's like a resting face. This is how they rest. Why? Because it's so habitual anger. Laziness. Prabhupada said this is not a place for the lazy and the crazies. So don't be crazy, don't be lazy. Krishna constantly makes you work. You work hard. Do the internal work, the external work. Keep clean. Serve Krishna. Another one. Constant internal complaining. External complaining is also very annoying, but you're complaining we're constantly internally complaining too. In our minds. Complaining about everything. So what happens is when you're constantly internally complaining, we fail to see what we should be grateful for. You know? There's so many things to appreciate. If you're constantly internally complaining, eventually you'll complain externally also, because it comes out. If somebody is constantly externally complaining, we know that internally what's going on. There's so many things to appreciate, but we focus on the thing to complain about. Sometimes, when there's a nice feast, everything's like 20 different items. And say, achar hota bahut acha hota. You complain, if those achar would be so nice, come on, there's like 20 items on your plate. And one thing, you can't appreciate what you have. Why are you complaining about what's not there? But it's the idea. It's a mindset, and you know what? It's an indulgence. It's an indulgence that's actually damaging to us. This is one of the Madana-gopāla. So try to find things to appreciate. There's so much to be thankful for. Why? If you count your blessings, don't count the missing achar. You see? Another one, the need to be right. There's a discussion. Sometimes we get in the mindset, no. I can never be wrong. Even if you're proven wrong, you say, no, this is a mistake, this proof is wrong. We don't want to be proven wrong because we don't want to apologize for anything. Somehow or other you stretch the levels of logic, the limits of logic to kind of bring yourself that you're right. I've always been right. It's a problem. This idea that we don't want to be corrected, we can't be wrong. It stems from a deep insecurity. We should be flexible. No, I live to be corrected. Thank you for correcting me. I'll keep it in mind. I was wrong. But many of us can't come to that point. This is really blocks us. These are subtle indulgences that are just as intoxicating as gross sense gratification. And they come in the way of that smooth upward movement of Krishna conscious progress and joy. It really comes in our way. They're like, potholes on this road. Subtle envy. There's gross envy, there's subtle envy, where we envy little bit things. And of course, the desire to be recognized and advanced. People should know how advanced I am. You should know. How come you don't realize how advanced I am? Don't you see how handsome I am? Don't you see, you should realize this by now. This desire to be recognized and advanced again stems from a sense of insecurity. Who cares what people think about your advancement? You actually become advanced, it doesn't make any difference what people care. What is it? Because we want to be recognized. It's a kind of indulgence, a sense gratification. Now, these are not sins. They're not breaking the principle, none of these. They're not external sins. You can do them and you can still be within the four-legged principles, no problem. But there are psychological addictions that slow our progress. So Bhagavatam is saying if these subtle addictions are ruling our inner landscape, you may sit in Bhagavatam class, you may chant your 16 rounds, you associate with many, many devotees, take care of them nicely, hear from gurus, but still our consciousness does not truly turn and yearn for Krishna. Why? Because what happens, these subtle attachments, they create what's called a competing agenda inside our heart. You see, we have one agenda, I want to be Krishna conscious and love Krishna non-stop with genuine feeling. But then there's a competing agenda. These things pile up and create an agenda that is in opposition to this one. So Prahlad calls this condition punah charvita charvananam in this verse. Chewing what has already been chewed. We've tried it. We think it's going to give us juice. No. There's nothing in this one. The sugarcane piece, it's been chewed, it's finished, it's completely dry. Okay, let me try again, maybe I'll get more juice. No, there's nothing left. There's nothing in this pile of subtle addictions. Somehow I'm hoping one of them will give me the juice I'm looking for. Nothing. It's dry. Long time ago. It's finished. We try to extract happiness from the same dried up material sources. No matter how hard you bite into that husk, there is no more sweetness. Initially you might have felt some sweetness because it gives the ego a little bit of a high. But afterward you realize there's nothing there. It's the wrong place. Yet the conditioned mind thinks, no, one more time. Maybe this time I'll get it right. Maybe this time I'll really do well and get truly famous. And then how nice it feels, all these people recognizing. Or, I will actually get the comforts that I'm looking for finally. I'll get the validation. I'll be able to justify my anger and consider it and make other people think my anger is noble because I'm doing it for a good cause. We justify our bad habits in the name of nobility all the time. Do we have the honesty to actually look into that and actually question it? So, this verse is asking us to admit honestly, which attachments am I chewing again and again? Which habits are draining my energy? Why do I run, instead of Krishna, I run toward comfort? A mature devotee asks himself in private, what am I really addicted to? Because these things are steering my consciousness away from God. Addiction means I'm compelled, even though I may know it's not right, but I feel compelled, I have to do it. Yeah, we've given the 4 gross addiction long back, no problem, but these are the ones that are harder. Now, this one word is very important. Prahlad Maharaj used the word mati. Matir is the opening word of this verse. You should really memorize this verse. Matir na krsne paratasvatova. A little more enthusiasm.
Oh, I thought everybody was
No,
being
you're
honest.
the only one who knows it. Actually, everybody knows it. I'm just kidding. Adanta gopir
Tamishram.
vishatam tamisram puna puna.
Pacharita charitanam.
She inspired me to memorize this verse. She actually memorized it very quickly. So I said I should memorize it too. Mati means orientation. Mati means direction. Mati means the underlying motivation. Motivation for our choices. Mati means where your mind flows naturally when it's not forced. That is your mati. Where does your mind go naturally without force? Is it Krishna? No. Then matir na Krishna. Not yet, at least. Mati means what you think about when you're tired. Mati is the default flavor of your consciousness. What does your mati smell like? What does it taste like? What happens, your mati comes out when you're stressed. Like it said, when the fruit or the vegetable is put into a juicer, you don't know what it is, but once you put it in the juicer, then you realize what fruit it was. So if you squeeze lemon juice will come out. If you squeeze sugarcane juice will come out. If you squeeze orange juice will come out. If you squeeze onion juice will come out. Which one are you? So when you are pressurized, when you're going through stuff, what is going to be the flavor of my mati that's going to become manifest in the world? So, in Gujarati there is saying, Jevi mati, tevi gati. In other words, as is your consciousness, so is your destination. Gati means destination. It rhymes. So, and this is not just the destination after death. That's not what I'm talking about. It's destination in every moment. We don't need to wait until death to see where we are in our Krishna consciousness. We have to look at it periodically, daily, maybe several times a day. If your mati is toward comfort, you'll walk toward comfort. If your mati is toward prestige, you'll walk toward prestige. If it's toward Maya, you'll walk toward Maya. And if your mati is toward Krishna, then your life will become a pilgrimage. See, pilgrims keep walking, but they're happy. Even though they haven't reached Krishna's temple yet, but they're happy because they're oriented in the right way. They're facing the right way, and the excitement building up that I'm going to see Krishna in about 1 month, but I'm walking. You see? That becomes Manorath, like Akrura, when he was going to pick up Krishna. He described, he was looking forward to it so much. And as he was going through, he was just getting more and more ecstasy because his mati is toward Krishna. So when your mati, your orientation in life is toward Krishna, then every step you take is your pilgrimage closer to the beautiful temple. Yeah. Therefore, the greatest benediction a sadhu can give is what? Krishna Matir Astu. May your mati become toward Krishna. That's the greatest benediction. That's why sadhus actually give that. Krishna Matir Astu. This blessing is higher than may you be healthy. This blessing is higher than may you be successful. May your family prosper. May your projects be successful. No. This blessing is the highest of all. Because all those blessings are still within the realm of Maya. The real blessing is may your heart remember Krishna spontaneously. So we must ask ourselves, what is my default mati? What is my automatic inner orientation? When I wake up in the morning, does my mind naturally go to Krishna? It should. It shouldn't be that hard. Wake up, okay, I'm feeling ready, but Hare Krishna, thank you Lord. It's not that hard to do. And when I wake up, does it go toward plans or politics or problems or people? Or does it go toward Krishna? So this verse is an invitation. This is something you have to reflect on privately, to deeply study your own mati. Because a quality of our life, the quality of our life is nothing but the quality of our mati. That's all. That's all it is, if you really think about it. Now, Prahlad warns us in this verse, something very deeply psychological. He says those with uncontrolled senses, Adanta Gobi, they enter what? Tamisra. Tamisra means deep, dark, hellish condition. We may think, but I'm a devotee, I chant 16 rounds. I follow regular principles, I go to temple, I do seva. Hellish life does not only mean after death. There is a hellish mental space that we don't want either. When we're struggling so hard with inner conflict, we're struggling with hypocrisy, not other people's hypocrisy, our own. Other people may have, but what about our own? We're struggling it. We don't want to, we deny it. We don't want to admit we have any. That's the struggle. That's why we are uncomfortable, because we're not processing it properly. Guilt, that's a hellish mental space too. Living a double life, showing one face but inside is something else. That's also hell. It's the tension is hellish, it's dark. Knowing what is right but doing what is wrong. You know, Arjun talks about it. What does one do? You know, why does it happen? I don't want to do it. Knowingly, I know it's not good for me. It's written on a cigarette packet. This causes cancer. In some countries, you know, on the cigarette packet, they actually put a photograph of like lungs with cancer on it. Like not even a diagram, actual photograph, like nasty one. And that's the law. If you want to sell a cigarette, you got to put this graphic scene on it. That this is what your lungs will look like if you smoke this thing. And still, the guy buys a cigarette, opens it, starts smoking, looking at the photograph. Why? Because it feels compelled. Arjuna's question, right? Why was it compelled to act even though he knows it's not right? So there is a kind of hellish mental space too. There's a conflict between right and wrong. Then there's more subtle conflicts like desiring Krishna. We want Krishna. We're all here because we want Krishna. There's no question about it. There's no one is doubting that at all. We all want Krishna. But there is desiring Krishna but also desiring the world. Both are, there's a tension that remains between those two desires. And that tension is a sort of a hellish mental space too. We want purity. but we also love our distractions. I think there's a famous Christian saint called Saint Augustine. He would say, "My Lord, please grant me purity. Please grant me chastity, but not just yet. not right now." Why? At least he's honest. I want to be pure, but just give me maybe a few more years. It's true. That's kind of like our that's our tension too. We want purity, but we're still in love with our distractions. And it's like being pulled by two magnets in opposite directions. And that's a hellish mental space. This tamisra doesn't just mean you cast into hell after death. This is a tamisra that we're struggling in. Are we together?
Yes.
This is the condition of the divided soul. Sachinanda Maharaj used the term divided soul. That we are to some level we're divided because our attention is divided. And this division is extremely painful actually. It's the struggle. That's the whole struggle that we're all, we're all in this together. It's painful. Many devotees suffer silently from it. Look, you love Krishna. You want Krishna. But you also want your attachments. You want to surrender, but you also want control. You want inner freedom, but you also want your comforts. Jai Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev ki Jai. So, you love Krishna, you want Krishna, but you still want your attachments. You want to surrender, but you also want some control. You don't want to surrender your control. You want the inner freedom, but you don't want to give up the comforts that we are still stuck in. So the result is a strange kind of what we call spiritual schizophrenia. Schizophrenia means, I would say, multiple personality, split personality. It's a disorder. So Prahlad Maharaj said this state is tamisra, a mental darkness where you feel frustrated, restless, unfulfilled. But the good news, the beautiful truth, is that Krishna understands this condition more than we do. Obviously. Who's a better doctor than Krishna? Who's a better psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, empath than Krishna? He's in our hearts. That's the beautiful truth that should give us hope. He is more patient than we can imagine. He has infinite patience with us. Think about how many lifetimes he's been patient with us. He waits behind the curtain of our heart. Also, he sees our struggles. Don't think he's not watching your struggle. Don't think he's not appreciating the effort that you're making. No. And he fully accepts even our conflicted attempts. Why? Because bhavagrahi janardana. So infuse our seva with bhava, he'll take that bhava. He accepts our conflicted offerings. Think about it. If he didn't, he wouldn't accept anything we've done so far. Isn't it true? If he's accepted so far, and we feel a sense of reciprocation from Krishna when you look at his hand in our life. So he's accepting. So we should not feel discouraged. This is not an exercise in discouragement. This is exercise in hope. But we also want to have clarity on what we're dealing with. That's why we're discussing in detail. See, once we have clarity and we see how powerful and merciful Krishna is, we can walk out of here with a great deal of hope that we can make substantial spiritual progress. Okay. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, don't be discouraged, be honest. See the divided condition of the heart and make a decision. Because Krishna, he runs toward that person who takes just one step out of his puddle of selfish sense gratification. One step out of that puddle, Krishna starts running toward you. And he's shown that in your life too. You all have stories. I don't even need to ask you. You know it, how Krishna's hand in your life has been there. Look back and you see retrospectively his hand in your life. You know your stories. So now, what are some practical ways we can move forward with hope? And we'll end up with this. Okay, it's a few more minutes. Is that okay?
Yes.
See, even if you have attachments, the Bhagavatam does not demand or expect perfection. Krishna does not expect perfection. He expects orientation. I'm not saying become perfect, but turn toward me. Deal with the obstacles, but turn toward me. See? Even if we fall, even if we fail, even if we are struggling, that's not so important. What's important is, what is my orientation? That's what's important, because that's within our control. What is your decision on this? So now there's some practical ways. 1. Offer the attachment itself to Krishna. Don't hide it. Say, my Lord, this attachment is stronger than me. I cannot defeat it. This is what they teach in Alcoholic Anonymous also. It's one of the steps, this 12-step program. Anyone familiar? Anyway.
No.
But, I mean, I've never tasted alcohol, but I read it. I thought it was very powerful system. And this is one of the steps is recognize that there's a higher power and we have no control over this addiction, but that higher power does. So my Lord, this addiction is stronger than me. I cannot defeat it. I'm offering this weakness to you. Please use even this for my purification. This honesty is extremely powerful, and it takes no time at all for someone to come out of it permanently. It's so powerful. Reflect on this verse daily. Matir na krsne parata satova. I mean, this actually, to take this verse apart, it's about 5 hours. Because we didn't even get into the parata satova part. You you can't do it even by yourself, your own effort, or someone, or everybody gets together in an intervention. That's another discussion. Let's just focus on what we can do now. It's very hard to come out of this, but we can offer the weakness to Krishna. We can reflect on this verse daily. After chanting, you say you do your japa after chanting. You say, which craving or which habit or which distraction pulled my mind away today from a proper mati? Mati is something that needs constant adjustment and calibration. It's not that I'm now Krishna mati. No. Every day we have to calibrate and adjust, reorient. 1 minute of daily reflection and honesty, self-honesty, will do much more than many years of mechanical sadhana where you're in denial. Evaluate. Second point, okay? The first point was you offer the weakness. Second point is daily reflection on this verse. Third point, there are beautiful prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam. Learn them, or at least read them. I mean, this is not a prayer to the Lord, but it's a powerful verse. But Prahlad Maharaj offers prayers later. Then there are prayers of Bhishma Dev in the first canto, prayers of Queen Kunti, prayers of Gajendra, Dhruv Maharaj's prayers, personified Vedas, incredibly powerful prayers. One of my favorite is Avanti Brahmana prayers. They're not so much commonly discussed, but they're so powerful. The song of the Avanti Brahmana in the 11th canto is a lamentation of a divided soul. Very relevant to us. Probably it's the 11th canto, we don't get to it usually. Read it separately. See, prayers in the Bhagavatam. Lord, I am bound by the ropes of my desires. Please release me. Honesty and prayer to the Lord. Prayers work. Now, when we ask, why should I pray? Lord only knows what my heart. No, if you pray, it strengthens your own resolve that you want to come out of it. And you make it quiet. You bring Krishna in your consciousness. Say, my Lord, I know you know what I want, but still I'm going to tell you. That's sweet. Isn't it? It's also personal. It recognizes Krishna in the forefront of our consciousness. That's why prayers are important. Some people say, what's the use of praying to God? He knows already what's in your heart. That's not the point. Now, that's the third point. Do you remember the first two?
Yes.
Well, the first one was what?
We want
Of your weakness. Second one was reflect on this
daily
verse.
reflection of
On this verse.
And then
Third is
learn the prayers in the
yeah.
Bhagavatam.
Dive into the prayers. Fourth one, associate with devotees who are progressing and have a good mati. Spend time with them. They are actually very abundantly available, these devotees. Because nowadays, electronically you can hear from them and so on. Find them. Find what inspires you. And Prabhupada is always available. The Prabhupada Association is available. Other devotees who are progressive, find them, spend time with them. That's the fourth one. Fifth one, engage the senses in Krishna's service. The solution to uncontrolled senses, adanta gobi, is not repression, but it's engagement. So do a little bit more if it's particularly distracting what particular sense gratification. If you like talking a lot, yap, complaining, talking, distraction. Some of us like that.
Yeah.
Then preach. Find ways to use the gift of your words to touch someone's heart. You're still yapping, but it's good. You know, it helps someone. It helps you too. You like to organize things? Organize for Krishna. You like prestige? Okay. Offer your skills in such a way that only Krishna gets the credit. That's the solution for prestige. In such a way that you'll get no prestige. And guess what? It's going to happen. You'll feel a sense of satisfaction that Krishna is satisfied, even without me getting prestige. Oh, this is nice. I don't really need prestige. Actually, that was just stupid craving anyway. So offer service to the Lord in such a way that only Krishna gets the credit. Then our craving for our credit is gone. It's like a counterintuitive thing, but it works. Because He's the root of all existence. You don't water your own head. He's the root. Water His lotus feet. Okay? You like comfort? Then create a devotional routine that comforts your mind, but nourishes the soul. You know? Use the energy, the momentum of your habit to fuel your bhakti. You know, there's different kind of martial arts. There's karate, there's judo, there's jiu-jitsu. So if you're familiar with judo, in judo they train you to use the strength of your opponent against himself. So that's why if you're training judo, even if you're going to be small and skinny, and you can actually work against and defeat someone who's much bigger and more muscular than you, because you're using his muscular power against him. So how they teach you in judo is the muscular guy comes toward you with the fist very hard. The momentum of his arm is so strong. Don't try to block it. Yank his arm further out of his socket. You see? So the guy gets totally shocked. Whoa, I didn't expect that. That's judo. Use the strength of your weakness against itself. So use the energy of your habit to fuel your bhakti. Use the momentum. It comes very naturally to me. You know, to yap, for example. Use it in Krishna's service. Like that, find whatever drives you. It could be a negative thing. Usually is a negative thing. Find a way to actually fuel your bhakti. This is what is called to dovetail your psychophysical nature in Krishna's service. Okay? And I'll end with one, I don't know if I have time to this. One quick story. Prabhupada, there's one devotee who was trying to give up smoking. And Prabhupada said, how much are you smoking? I said, Prabhupada, I smoke a lot of cigarettes, I need to give it up. And he said, how many you smoke? I smoke 2 packs a day. I think 1 pack, I don't know how many is in 1 pack. Anyway, it's like many cigarettes in 1 box. And Prabhupada said, okay, fine. From tomorrow, only smoke 1 pack of cigarettes. You can imagine Prabhupada telling someone to smoke 1 pack of cigarettes. Now you can take that quote out of context. Prabhupada said smoke 1 pack of cigarettes. Alright, what can I do? I don't even like it. But Prabhupada said, so I should start smoking 1 pack every day. It's not meant for us. For that particular person. You have to wean off that addiction. But for 1 month, only 1 pack. After that, half a pack. And within 2 months, 3 months, it should be completely 0 cigarettes. He quit very successfully, devotee. And he said, Prabhupada, I did it. And Prabhupada said, no, he did not. Krishna did it. It's very hard to give up these things. Krishna has helped you. Because you wanted to serve Krishna, so he helped you out. Otherwise, you cannot. Devi he shakunamai, ama maya duratteya, ameve papatente, maya metantarante. These mayas that we're trying to cross. He says, if you surrender to me, it becomes easy. Otherwise, it's impossible. You're not going to do it. So anyway, Krishna transforms our attachments when we sincerely orient our mati toward Him. So whenever you ask for benediction from anybody, please ask, my dear sadhu, my dear Acharya Karna, my dear great Acharyas in the Parampara, please bless me then my mati becomes fully oriented toward Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. I think we're kind of out of time. So, no questions, I think it's better.